Hello? Hello. Are we working now? Is this working? Please tell me this is working. Yeah, ugh. I hate this whole thing. Okay. I think this is working. I pray that this is working. I'm going to try and go here. Let's see. That was about a waste of an hour. Well, more like just 30 minutes, I guess, but still, that was awful. Now, hopefully the audio is all set. Hopefully, well, to anyone out there, I deeply apologize for that previous attempt at a stream. That was not at all how I was intending for the stream to go. This is taking forever. Okay, there we go. Probably died again. So... okay. I guess it either doesn't work right and it streams correctly, or it streams correctly and I can't get it to stay connected. That's great. Oh well. Well, I assume this has been disconnected. I won't figure out for about a minute probably, but until then I will if you can hear me. Let me see. Shadow, let me see. Is all of this working? I have no idea. It says that it's live, but it has been horrible today trying to get this all to work. Let's get out of that. Okay. Okay. Alright. Let me check one last time. Okay, it says it's working. I will go with it saying that it's working. So, to answer your question, Shadow, it has been pretty terrible getting this up and running. I have pretty bad pains today, body pains, but hopefully everything is working now, so I can actually get work done on the page here. Okay. Let's find something to put on to listen to. And, yeah, I spent about 30 minutes, trying to get the, programs to work. The stylus was all messing up and getting all jittery. And it was generally being, pretty horrible to actually work. But hopefully we're past that now. And, we can actually get actual work done here. Ouch. Turn that down. Alright, let's put this on. Maybe lower that a tiny bit. Alright. Here we go. Yeah, I woke up today and started working on this comic page, drawing it and everything. and it's pretty much been what I've been doing today. Got it scanned in about an hour ago, edited it some on the other computer, and now I've transferred it over to this computer to do the digital inking, and so that I could stream doing it to show people or interact with you guys while I work. How has your guys' day been going? Sorry that you could not hear me ask that stuff earlier, Bowyer, that the mic wasn't working either. So, yeah, that's, we're working now, and, I guess that's been how this has been going. Just pretty terrible all around. Right on. Right on. Yeah, it was probably good you couldn't hear me during that previous stream, Bowyer. It was, pretty, going, why isn't this working? What is wrong with this? And just trying to figure everything out. Not the finest moments of my YouTube career, but, it comes with the territory, I guess. I am happy to hear that, Bowyer. It's always nice to have the viewers enjoying the day. Right now, I'm just intending to work for as long as I can hold out. I still need to eat dinner and everything, but until then, or until Grandma decides to go to bed, I'll just be working on this, and, I guess you guys will be here on the side watching. Yeah, the stream has been pretty not great today. It is better than the other day, though. That was horrible, like, 2 days ago. I couldn't get a stream going for longer than 2 minutes before it cut out, and I tried about 6 or 7 times before I finally just gave up. That was a horrible day. By comparison, I guess I have gotten this to actually work today. Hopefully it doesn't disconnect much, if at all. I pray it doesn't, but you know how it goes here. Yeah, got 2 of the usual suspects in chat today. Do need to get to work on another commission, but I do have to do this also, and make a birthday card for my brother and stuff. It's not than I had a few years ago. Back then, there'd be no way to do streams for me. That was middle of nowhere, Iowa, so, it's not the best place all around for internet. Took like 2 hours sometimes to download a 30-minute thing. If it didn't fail, if it did, then you'd have to spend the next half day, getting reconnected and downloading again and praying that it works. Yeah, by comparison, it's a lot better here. It'd just be nice to have equipment and connection that is normal for this time period. Yeah, it was not the best. I do hope the birthday was good, though. And stuff. I guess before it gets the chance to disconnect again or anything, I'll zoom out and show the comic page I'm working on tonight. Raise the opacity. Yeah, we got Doko up here. He's, Oh yeah, I am on Twitter, Shadow. Yes, I think I'm Edward18 over there. It has the, profile picture I use for everything, so if it's not Edward18, it's Edward18517. But, Doko is here at the restaurant still, that they went to 2 comics ago, searching for Stacy, and the cook comes out, and he thinks that, Doko's lost, because he, like, lost the tournament, because he's coming here, and it's like, why would you come here if you still are in the tournament competing while it's going on? And so they're trying to get him to raise the debt that the characters owe them from the other night, not realizing, like, just to sort of get them hostage on their tab. And the guy here is like, no, he's still fighting, he's one of the finalists. And he's like, why the hell are you here then? And Doko goes into a repeat of his explanation from the previous interaction, which is just, I'm looking for Stacy. And then he's like, we gotta get you back over there so you can actually pay us by winning. And that's how that goes. But yeah, Shadow, I am on Twitter. And if you ever wanna see me there, and I guess it's not the place I go every day. Well, I do, I guess, but it's not like the most... I'm usually most active on DeviantArt. And I guess I'm also on Discord, but I don't really count that much. I have an old Discord server I made, but no one went to it, so I didn't end up really using that. But you can find me on Twitter, so there is that. And I figured by the time I said this part, you would have found me on there, and I can see that I was correct. You do seem to love the stuff that I make, which I am happy that you get enjoyment out of it. And this character over here, he's someone that's like given a card to Doko as like a sort of, this is the people I work with, you should give us a call sometime type of thing. Doko mistook it as a napkin, but you can see down here the thing actually has these legs that come out of the card. And as Doko is getting carried away, you can see it latching onto him, and this guy smiling. And it's something for a later plot line to follow up on. But that guy works for... It's a faction that, there have been members that have shown up, but they've only really been in the background. And that guy in particular has shown up in the previous 2 comics, just like in the background and foreground where the audience wouldn't really pay attention to him and stuff. There's being like Emperor Illuminator and his forces, and the Wizard or Sake and the various alliances she has, and I guess there's a government, you could say, that it's like every island has its own government, and the leaders of the islands all come together annually to do boring politics stuff. There is like a sort of international military type force that is different islands. Like, if you want to uphold the peace and all that, you go to their island for training, and then you'll be sent back as someone that upholds the peace. And those operatives have like blue outfits, but there's an international variant that has like different, more experienced training, and they're like for more international type stuff. They have purple outfits, and you can see them in the previous comic chasing Krekalank away at the end of it, because the tournament is sort of an internet where different island people come together to celebrate and all that stuff. Well, outside of DeviantArt, it's I guess Discord would be the best way to contact me, because I am on there more. But usually I do check DeviantArt every day, so I do see chat messages there. Sorry about the restaurant food. Yeah, all depends on who's cooking and where you go, and my stomach just growled because I guess I read the words restaurant food. This restaurant Doko's in, I would love to go to, because they have a Chinese buffet. And I love buffet. Well, I like good buffets. I don't like it when the food is like all dry and old and all that stuff. Yeah. No, there's all sorts of stuff in this world that hasn't been really explored yet. There's three leaders of the military type force, and it's not like but an island can deny that force to be on them if they don't want it. And there's three leaders of it: young leader, middle-aged leader, and an elderly leader who's like, I think, 200 or 300 years old. He's not like, he doesn't look human, so it's, you can make up an excuse for him being a different species is why he's that old, but really it's just, I needed an old guy and he's extremely old, so I'll make him this age. Oh yeah, if you ever wanna talk to me on Discord, I am on there, Shadow. I should be edward18 there also, and if not, edward18517. I guess I can leave, like, my Discord information in the description of this video once it's done streaming. That would probably be the easiest way to give a direct link to it. I know that, what's his name? Conork, he has me on there. He's the guy I do the Transformers commissions for sometimes. I don't think he's been in a stream here yet, though. I don't know if... I assume they have a YouTube account. Yeah, I still remember when YouTube had response videos you could make to people. You could just... you'd make a response video and then it'd link to that response video in the description of the original video. But like all features, Google just gets rid of it over time. Just left to be a myth of the past, passed on through the words of the veterans that were there. Yeah, I imagine this page is gonna take a while because it has Doko on it, and any page that Doko is a big part of takes forever, since he has so much black on his design. The only thing I do not care for about Doko, how much time I have to spend doing the pages he's on. But I want him to look that way, so gotta do that. Let's see here. Yeah, you need flavor for food. I know Grandma could not stand how she was losing her taste later on. There we go. Some more music. Then you have Hawker up TVs and that she is Claw. And yeah, it's not looking the best for her given how the faces she's been making on the TV screens. Yeah, I'm just going to have leftover spaghetti tonight. Because after this, I'm not going to really have the energy to do much. And the whole complications at the beginning did not help, where I was like, the stream was completely silent and the stylus was messing up. If you were watching Bowyer, that was what all the me fiddling around in this, doing nothing was about, was getting like the pressure sensitivity for the stylus actually working. I had to go up here into input devices after fooling around with like everything on the computer to try and figure out what was going on. I ended up switching like the mode of the tablet to get it to like actually work. It was horrible. 25 minutes of that. And then it turned out I was talking to nobody because the microphone wasn't working. But that's not, that's in the past, and I don't have to deal with that anymore. I was worried that I'd have to, like, go to the other computer, which cannot stream, to work on this, but then I realized, since I've been working in this version of GIMP, this one is not compatible with the other computer, so I'd have no way to work on it if I didn't get the stylus working on here. Or the tablet, I guess. So that was my existential nightmare for the day. I listened to some of the Gorillaz' new album while I was working on the physical parts of this page. It is always nice to see them making new stuff. the Gorillaz do make pretty great music. I do love their new, the latest one they did a music video for, which was, I think, Silent Running. It came out earlier in the month. It was a bit interesting, because this time they, like, worked backwards, where the previous music video happened after the new music video, and the one they came out with was like a prequel to the one they came out with before it. Story continues on in the earlier video. They've had Murdoch. They've been using, like, I guess some sort of VTuber or mocap model or something of Murdoch to, like, do commentary lately and stuff, and have his voice actor talking through him. I think they're supposed to be doing a question and answer segment today with that. So that'll probably be going on right now or later tonight with them. Oh no, it was a pretty horrible situation, Failure, but on your end, it probably just looked like I was fiddling around with stuff to get things ready. On my end, it was a nightmare. But, that's to be expected sometimes with technology. Bum, bum. Soul meets body. I believe it's true that there are some of our shoes. The silence takes you, but I hope it takes me too. The brown eyes are holding you, 'cause you're the only sound I want to hear. Melody softly soaring through my atmosphere. Thankfully, I have a drink here for my throat going all parched and sandpapery. Blech. Uh-oh. Nope, don't do that. There we go. An easy way to make these panels stand out is if you do a completely black background for a panel. So here, this guy is just staring at Doko in disbelief. And so I'm just eliminating any detail for anything in the background. And just having it completely black, and then I'm going to put like 3 dots here in white as a sort of his mind is processing type of look to it. Half the time I don't come up with names for characters, make characters that are sort of situational background type characters, and then if they keep reappearing later on, I'll give them a name sometimes. But for right now, Mr. Foodman, according to Doko. That's a thing with Doko, is he just sort of calls people whatever pops into his head at the time. Like with Professor Velderock, that guy that appeared in Dormant Infection, the guy with like the brain that you can see through his glass head. He just calls him Mr. Brain Guy, usually. And as Velderock appears more, he's going to get pretty annoyed. Like, my name is Velderock, you dumbass. And Doko just never remembers it, either from how complex the name is to him, or because it's just easier to say Mr. Brain Guy. He remembers Emperor Illuminator, though. That is a name that sticks in his head. He remembers his friends and Rascal and Sprite. And the Old Sage, since the Old Sage is like him. But it is, if... I don't try to overdo it because, one, it looks kinda lazy. Like, as if you can't think of a background, which is usually not the case with me. But also because it's like... It takes more work to, like, fill in the space. But it gives a nice stark contrast type of look for panels and stuff. It should be getting time for Grandma to get her TV watching going. Yeah, Doko is not the brightest of heroes. Well, there do exist alternate versions of him that have more intelligence. But that is stuff that'll be dealt with later in the series. There are universes where Doko just doesn't even exist, but Mekmek and Tesley still do. Because the timelines in those universes had different events happen. Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with an idiot hero. Good old classic Goku, I guess a bit in Anne Boone Choi. Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy. The more idiotic they are, usually the more innocent they are. Lined up to make at some point. I laid out a few keyframes for it a few months ago, but since I've been working on the Invader Zim animation in the comic, I've got no time for that. It was a little animation I was doing, taking audio from the Double Life series in Minecraft. All those people were doing, and animating one of the scenes as like a cartoon. It should be pretty fun if I ever get around to finishing it. And my stomach is growling. Little details in the different versions of the game. For Prime, the Metroid Prime, the creature's origins, story-wise. also saw an excerpt from an old interview where Shinji Mikami, the main producer on the Resident Evil series before 5, was talking about how he felt Code Veronica should have been Resident Evil 3. I think he was saying story-wise, it feels like it should be 2, and then main game-wise, it should be 3. But when it comes to that series and how Capcom looks at main games, it doesn't really mean much, the numbers at times. It more just shows like the amount of budget that goes into a title. Because most of the games, side games or main games, have pretty important story points in them for the series. Then you have the 3D animated CGI movies, which take place in that universe, but do not feel like they're important. Survival horror side-scroller. It would have a joke ending you could get if you knew how to get it. You'd escape the facility and see this wedding procession where you'd walk down the aisle and get married to the helicopter pilot you can save to help you escape. You have all the monsters of the games in the pews crying and cheering as 4-legged monsters carry you guys off into the sunset on a sleigh. Since it's in the Alaskan wilderness and it's all snowy and everything. Well, I know Shinji's studio did Evil Within and stuff. Don't know, I know there was talk about a new game, but I haven't really kept up on that. I heard he's leaving the studio. He might be retiring. She has been around doing game stuff since like the 80s, so probably getting around time that he'd be wanting to get out of it. Then you got Hayao Miyazaki, who always says he's retiring, but then it's like, oh, I'm gonna make one last movie, then I'll retire again, and oh, but I got another movie to make. Yeah, he's gonna be doing that till he dies. Oh, I've heard of Hi-Fi Rush. Didn't know that was them, though. Yeah, it looks pretty vibrant. Oh, and do not worry about the dimension type thing, Ballier. Doko and his friends will definitely go to different universes by the time the series is over. Oh, if that's the scenario you're wanting, I do have something thought out of a alternate future scenario where Illuminator has taken over. I don't think Doko and his friends end up going to it, but they are there, and you get to see those versions of them. It ends up having to do with a Make-A Diabolical and stuff, and things that of time, and the Guardian of Time who watches over all the timelines and stuff. You might have just been thinking of a generic first level type thing, Valier. Well, the computer I'm on right now, Shadow, is a Windows 10. It's a 64-bit, although I do not know if it would run on here. I would like to be able to play games and stream playing games, but OBS does not seem to want to capture video of that. It just shows a blank try to record it. But as long as I can draw, I should have enough in the way of streaming material. You guys have seen how much and how often I do draw. I could literally do this all day long. Yeah, if I didn't have Grandma to worry about, like, noise disturbing her maybe at some point, I would just probably stream making stuff all day. And if the connection would hold out. Yeah. And if... well, I'd do it regardless of the body pains. That has lyrics in it, I would be able to work on fanfics and stuff without getting distracted by the voice. Normally I will get distracted by, like, singing if I'm working on a story, but with this song it just became background noise I could listen to all the time when I work. I remember I used to hear this in the Starbucks back when when the whole family lived in Ohio. Me and Dad and my brother would go and just sort of hang out there sometimes. Some food, but I've got a comic page I have to work on, so I'm gonna keep coloring in right Yeah, by the time the series is over, you'll get to see all different versions of Doko and his friends. evil versions, versions that don't know each other, all sorts of things. Timeline shenanigans, and there's time travel that's already happened in their world that even a character in this saga might have participated in, but none of that stuff has been like a plot point yet for the comic characters. Yeah, I don't think that they'll encounter that type of version of them, though there is room for that to happen, Daniel. There is a set amount of timelines, because here's the thing, an issue that I always have, that I think mostly came from it worked when it was like, just Wind Waker as the one where he did defeat Ganon, and then after that Twilight Princess being where he went back in time and stopped him. But when it gets into, like, into the, well, this is just another timeline, but it's like, okay, but where did that timeline come from? How did it happen? What events transpired? The timelines for Doko's stuff happen because things have happened like time paradoxes to create alternate realities. And so it's like, when things happen, if you go back in time and do something that should not happen, according to like destiny or fate or whatever, it will split that into its own timeline, and that universe will evolve out of the events being different from how they should be. And eventually that happens so much with the timeline that it cannot happen anymore. It has strained the fabric of reality too much, so that if that does happen again, time will shatter. Everything will start to collapse, and like everything, the timeline will be completely wiped out. It's like, currently, that is a danger. Like, in the time period of the comics, if that were to happen again, everything would just simply stop existing. But yes, Shadow, the evil Doko will be a character, and I'm pretty sure you have seen his, like, old reference. That is a universe that, let's see, what happened? Oh yes, Sake, the wizard, the behind-the-scenes evil woman, is essentially in the role that the old sage is, where she is the elderly good character, and the old sage is the elderly evil character. And so since Doko is sort of the disciple slash child figure to the old sage, that naturally leads him to be evil in that universe. I haven't detailed all the universe, like all the different timelines, so Ballier, there is still room for that stuff to happen. I was just explaining that it's not a situation where I can just keep coming up with other ideas constantly for different realities, because I purposefully put that limitation on it so that that could not happen. Yeah, once it gets into doing, well, this is another reality, when it's really just an excuse for us to do the characters again and do their stories again, but slightly different. just so we can keep doing it and keep making money off of this thing that really should have probably died years ago. I just didn't want that to end up being able to happen. It's to that point, it becomes sort of more of a joke, it feels like, where it's like, okay, well, if there's all these realities, why do I even bother following along? There's nothing really at stake if you look at the grander scope of it, in that sense, and it's something, like, alternate realities can work story-wise, but the, I guess, industry is not concerned with that. It just a way to, like, keep repeating the same thing and just try to make easy money off of that. Whereas with me, I feel like I care more about the story and the consequences of it. It's just a personal preference of mine. Yep. No, that Doko, he is a lot more someone you cannot sympathize with, and is a lot smarter than the Doko in the comics on top of that. Because Doko, if things had not gone the way they did in Doko's past, he would be smarter. He is not naturally as dumb as he is here. But in this timeline, he ended up that way, so it's just sorta how it is now with him. And in that universe, Tesley is evil, and Mech is sort of just their servant that Doko will force to do work and make weapons for them and stuff. Tesley pretty much uses him as like a sex slave. Doko has like... that Mech is missing a hand because when he'd refused to do something for Doko once, Doko ripped his arm, like, hand off as, like, just to make him do something. He's got a robot hand in place of it. It's the one that he always wears the glove on. Yeah, the way the industry looks at the multiverse thing ever since, like, the old 80s Crisis on Infinite Earths thing is just, well, here's an excuse to do another version of the characters, and they'll all buy our thing, because it's doing the old story again. I think of Marvel and DC, probably the best one to do it was like Ultimate Spider-Man, because that felt like a legitimate attempt to really do a new universe where it felt like it was more than just trying to a lazy type of here's the same thing, just slightly different. And it had a really fun video game. I love that one. Oh yeah, the alternate universes can get pretty different from the normal universe in my stuff. There's one where Mech is like the hero, the main villain of the universe, and Doko doesn't even exist there. It's just the two of them. And Kala exists there. And there's also one where, Doko... Is it... I know I had one where I think Tesley and him were boyfriend and girlfriend. That Doko has lice instead of just being a moron. But I'm trying to remember if Mech exists in that universe or not. I can't really remember. King Shadow's still around in the one where Tesley is the serving as like she's the main villain at that point, but if she's the Darth Vader, then King Shadow is the Emperor Palpatine of that one. In that, like, relationship-wise between the two of them, that's how to view it. Yeah, the industry's sort of just gone kinda crazy with the multiverse thing in the last decade. The one that I really loved was Turtles Forever, the, like, finale of the 2003 Ninja Turtles series. If that had been the ending of the Ninja Turtles franchise, I would have been fine. That was, like, the perfect finale for, like, everything. Just using, like, doing the logical thing of using Krang from the original cartoon, using his technology to end up in the 2003 universe. That was so obvious, but it was so genius how they handled everything. Like, they had every chance to mess it up, and they just did everything right. Then ending it in the original comic universe was just incredible. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, these body pains are not good today. If I could, I'd just rip some of my organs out of my body. I do have the Ultimate collections of the, like, the hardcover compilations of the original Turtles comics. As, like, notes from Eastman and Laird after every comic, like 1 or 2 pages of notes for what was going on at the point that they made each issue and what certain specific pages are about and how they did things and all that behind the scenes stuff. It's really nice. Although I got really sick of them constantly going, oh, Jack Kirby inspired us to do this, and Jack Kirby, this was a tribute to him. Yeah, I get it. I know Jack Kirby was a big influence. You don't have to say it like every single page. I like the guy, but I don't need to hear about him 24/7. Eh. Oh. And is that the end of chat? Is that the end of the stream? I disconnected. Let's hope it did. it says this is still live. Oh, the chat's back. Okay, that's working. Yeah, I guess if I ever see you on Discord or Twitter, Shadow, I can show you pictures of that stuff. Well, that would be a pretty nice idea for a video game. I have actually thought about making like a one-level thing to go with like people that support the comic once it finally gets published, and have like maybe the first comic issue made into a video game level value. I have no idea how I do that, but it's something I would do if I had the capability. Just make like a side-scroller little thing to go with the special release of the comic. Just getting hungrier and hungrier here. Yeah, Doko's stuff started out as a video game idea. Pretty much all of my stuff starts out as video game ideas. Like the Freaks and Barbot. Well, Barbot was supposed to be a side-scroller series, and then it'd become the Freaks. And then the Freaks would have been a 3D platformer series. And then the war, like the war that destroys our society, that was to sort of be like a Body Harvest type thing, where it was like get into vehicles, and I guess sort of like Grand Theft Auto, but more of an apocalypse type thing where time passes actually over the years. And then the time period after that, the 2100s, would also be a side-scroller. I actually have a reference sheet or concept art of that up on DeviantArt. It's what did I call that? Immortal Ignition, if you want to look that up. It has Telemer as the main character there, and it'd be a side-scroller. Then the time period between that and the comic time period would be it'd be a massive online multiplayer thing detailing the civil wars that take place as the rebuilt society with hyper-advanced technology gets into civil wars and starts breaking down more over the century. And then Doko's stuff started out as, back when Doko wasn't even like Doko, he looked completely different with like flower petal hair and stuff. It was supposed to be sort of a 3D platformer, like a mix between, I guess, Mega Man Legends and Jak and Daxter. And that's sort of where the hyper-advanced ruin-type aspect came from, I think. Those were main influences for that. And then I just ended up like, I got no way to make a video game, and I have the story. I'm just gonna make a comic and try to tell the story, since, like, I want to make something before I die. So, I just got to work on the comic, and then I just sort of kept going from there. Now we're in the, well, I considered it 3 main sagas, but this is like sort of a saga between the first and second main saga I had planned out originally. Obviously now I have tons more sagas thought out beyond the third main saga. But that's how that all came about. Oh, that would be a nice idea, Valier. I just wish I had a way to actually make the game. I do not know coding or game engines or any of that, though I've tried to figure some out, but with everything I'm always working on, I never have time to properly get into it. But I would love to at some point. Oh, Doko actually, the Silicon Equal comic, if you look in his thought bubble at one point where he's talking to, like, Robo-Doko, he's, like, talking about being a superhero with him, you can see in the thought bubble that, like, there's a Doko that's dressed sorta more like Batman, and one that's dressed sorta more like Robin. So I could just base that costume on that, like, thought bubble image. Well, that is a nice goal to shoot for. I don't know if I'd set my sight on any one company in particular, because you never know what's going to happen in the future, if a company will close or merge into something else. Like, I never thought that Rareware would be gone, and, like, they aren't, but, like, once they got sold to Microsoft, it's not Rareware anymore. Microsoft got rid of everyone on the team and replaced them. Well, not everyone, but it's like, you just don't know what's gonna happen with companies. But the general idea of making a video game is always something to be interested in, I'd say. Yeah, Rareware and Naughty Dog are the two old great ones to me for, like, I guess more indie-feeling game-making, but over time, both of them just changed so much. For Naughty Dog, it was like when their two creators left to me. I think it's Jason and Andy. I think that's them. They left after the Jak and Daxter series, and it's just been a different company ever since to me. They make good games, it's just, I've been waiting for Jak 4 forever. I want Jak 4. And I know I'm never getting it. Yeah. But I'd love to make video games. I got so many ideas. The Xeno Hunter one's the one I've obviously worked on the most stuff for, done like actual animations for enemies and everything. But I just work on too much stuff to really get anything done on any of them. But that day'll hopefully come where I get all sorts of stuff done around the same time, and it'll all pay off. Or not, and I'll just wither away and die, but at least I'll have made stuff. Yeah. Just gotta keep going. sure Jaden would like this music. Alright. You know, I think I'm probably going to keep this stream going for about 30 more minutes, and then I'm going to get off to go eat something because I am pretty starving. But yeah, anytime you guys wanna look me up on Discord and Twitter and stuff, I am on those sites. One project I've always wanted to do more of is my retro rework things, which is where I take like old garbage looking classic games and animate them to look better. Like the Mario Bros. Arcade Mario I animated a year or so back. I'd love to make like actual videos where it's like just fake little trailers for good-looking versions of those games that don't actually exist. That I've never had the time to fully animate everything that would require. Well, that's a good thing. I am always wary of when Xbox/Microsoft does stuff. As long as they're still going, though. Yeah, for retro rework, I planned for a fake trailer of a good-looking Mario Bros. Arcade with the animations I was doing for like the Shell Creeper and Mario and stuff. Then I also planned one for Centipede, which I ended up eventually just making a Centipede animation, like with me in it. And had one planned for Frogger, and oh, I had the Legend of Zelda Oracle games I had planned to reanimate. Mega Man 9 and 10. I think I also had one I planned to reanimate. That wasn't as much of a priority though, since Powered Up exists as a good-looking remake. I just wish there were like remakes for games that all needed them. Like the ones that look bad, that you have made look like that if it hadn't been for the limitations of the systems at the time. Well, Berserk is a pretty popular title, Bowyer. And Stacy is definitely of the more combative type. between her and Doko, she is the one that is more likely to, like, physically try to hurt somebody. Although, as long as you're nice with her, she generally doesn't attack. Kala found out the hard way about that. Ouch, ow, 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 ow. I hate my body so much. Well, at least this isn't one of the days where the pains make me wonder if I'll die or something. I do wish that I had the ability to make animations as quickly as someone like Jaden. She has a whole team helping her, so it probably contributes to the frequency of which she puts things out. That and her animations don't feel as complex as some of the ones I try to make a lot of times. Yeah, I just get too focused on trying to make things look all nice and fluid and stuff. It makes them look great, it's just that it takes forever to do. Oh, and I guess I will remind you if you guys are behind at all, you can move the timelines bar over to the right to catch up to what's being said currently. I don't know if that's happening with you guys, but I just figured I'd remind you. So happy to have the stream actually, well, the tablet actually working now. It was a nightmare trying to get this thing set up today. Doko's got one of his blank, empty, no brain in his head stares here. Oh, I guess, for anyone watching in the future, If you ever want me to make a commission for you, I am always available. And if you like to support what I make, I am on Patreon and blah blah blah. I doubt that's going to do anything, but for anyone that's not familiar with me, there is the stuff, I guess, that YouTube people say these days. It's over the years, it's kind of interesting. There's every few years it feels like it's a new generation of new popular people on YouTube, and over time a lot of them seem to fall out and sort of get forgotten about until people, I guess newcomers, go back through videos and rediscover the old ones. And I guess JonTron's still around, he's one of the older ones. But it's always interesting to see how people come in and drop off eventually, and new ones take over and the cycle repeats and all that. Let's see here. Oh, well, I don't even need to do a different reality for that failure. I could just make them go to a planet where that's happening. And they will be going to other planets later on. There's a whole space adventure thing that happens. This was one of the tracks that Skull Kid 3 would always use in their streams. How long ago was that now? Was that like, I think it was around 2011 or 2012 or something they did those streams? They had a whole playlist where they kept their music that they'd use in the streams. Still up, the playlist. The streams, I'm pretty sure, are long gone by this point. Oh, well, yeah, then that would have to be an alternate reality, to have different versions of those characters. Although, I think I had it where, the version of Doko that is the boyfriend of Tesley in that one universe had dated Aquashi before in the past. That's the most I think I've gone into a different version of the tournament characters. I'm not sure if Doko, the one in the comic universe, really understands much of the concept of boyfriend-girlfriend stuff. It feels either too innocent or too stupid to really get that. Oh, this is the latest I have ever done a stream during the day. Or at least where I'm at, it's like 8:20 right now. 8:30 is when I plan to end the stream, because I am starving. Well, that other version of him certainly knows the sensual way. This version of him, though, he has not had that type of experience yet. Yeah, him... All Doku's really known throughout his life is, training for fighting from the old sage, and, just being a happy helper. We help people, because it's the right thing to do. He has. And that type of mentality is something the old sage probably wishes he had less of, because the old sage worries about Doko and how things will be for him out in the world. That's typical parent worrying stuff, and things that he fears might happen due to Doko's things in the history of the world the comics take place in. Things that he knows about that other characters are not aware of really yet. Doko, why do you have to have so much black on your suit? Oh, that sounds like fanfic material, Bowyer. You could spearhead the first fanfics of the comic. I'm not sure if communism even exists anymore by the time of the comics. Because all the countries our setups come from are long gone by that point. I'm sure there's probably still remnants of our ways of thinking. But the good thing about having a story set that far in the future is you do not have to worry about all the garbage political stuff of our time period. What are you voting for, Democrat or Republican? What's a Democrat? What's a Republican? You know, they run the United States of America. What's in America? I do plan to show the Statue of Liberty at one point when some characters go like submarine diving beneath the ocean. Yeah, I figured that was the case. I was just extrapolating off of the thoughts that I was speaking was all. Getting into what thoughts trailed off of the words I was reading. Although Santa Claus does exist in the timeline, or the time period of the comics. The ghost of Johnny Appleseed also exists. Although those characters don't really say who they are, it's more of implications that they are those characters. Yeah, during the wars that destroyed our society, the Santa Claus was still active, still bringing gifts to people on Christmas every year, even attempting to do so to the aliens, and no matter what they did, they could not capture or kill him. They just had to let him keep doing his Santa thing. Santa Claus is an eternal constant of happiness. I guess technically Doko does have information about America and other countries from our time period. Like, he has things, like his goggles have information on them of things from our time period. But it won't show him that stuff unless he, like, accesses it. And he doesn't know anything about his goggles, just that if he looks at things with them on, they'll give him information sometimes on what he's looking at. I had it thought out that every time he'd, like, do his energy blasts and stuff, his goggles would, like, instinctively flip down over his eyes. That's how I had it set up. I don't know if I'll keep doing that, but it was the idea. And I guess since I'm almost done, well, not filling in the blacks, but doing the general blacks of the page, I'll just finish it up here before I go eat. But we're getting to the end of the stream here. I think I just got this guy's hat left to do. I just realized there is so much information I give you guys on these streams that you do not get from the comic. At least not yet. That probably serve to help better understand the characters. I do purposefully try to keep from telling certain things, though. don't want you guys to get too ahead. It's like people that watch Dragon Ball Z before Dragon Ball and completely ruin the story. Yeah, this guy has a black hat thing and a red suit. I think I had his skin color being a light green or something. His glasses are also like red. I'm getting so hungry now. Come on. Just have your dumb hat thing to do, and then I can get to getting food. Well, I hope these streams are interesting enough. I don't know how investing it is to watch someone just fill in these blacks digitally constantly. But I do provide commentary too, so that probably does help some. Yeah. There we go. I can just leave it like that. Do this. No, that was too thin. That was too thin. Bring it out towards the bottom. Follow the curve. There you go. This is so much easier than having to, like, back when I physically colored in the blacks and then would go over it digitally afterwards. Just a completely needless waste of time since I do the blacks digitally anyway. Okay. Almost done here. And then I'll be getting off and let you guys get on with your nights as well. Alright. Just a tiny bit more, and we will be out of here. Alright. Do the little sparkle here on the glasses. There. There. And here. Okay. one last fill bucket. And I think that is all I had to color in for the blacks. I'll go over the lines, the white outlines that didn't get colored later tonight. But here's how the page in general looks. What you can expect touched up a bit on DeviantArt later. And I'm going to stop streaming because I am starving, and yeah. I hope you guys have a great night and enjoy whatever food you have planned for on your ends. Thank you for joining me, I guess Shadow and Bowyer. If anyone else was watching, I hope you enjoyed the ramblings here and stuff as well. And anytime any of you want to talk, feel free to do chat in the next streams. But for now, we're gonna be ending and heading off to dinner. So, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all later.